I want to be a pop star.
This rags to riches tale of ambition, fame and betrayal begins with an advert in showbiz trade paper The Stage, seeking young wannabes to form an all-girl band. Meet the man behind the dream, 23-year-old pop manager Chris Herbert, who convinced his father Bob and business partner Chick Murphy, former manager of the 3 Degrees, to back him in his quest to reinvent the all-girl group.
There's a lot of boy groups around at the moment, and we just thought it was time to sort of get together a white girl singing, dancing group, because there's just a need for it.
You've got to think that if you can get 5 ordinary English girls, girl next door type, you know, at least the girls might buy the records and boys might buy the records.
Wannabes in their thousands flocked to the auditions in London's not-so-glittering Shepherd's Bush.
The main thing was, you know, to get really good, sassy, colourful, bubbly characters.
We're gonna make it happen.
Our audition was causing quite a lot of commotion downstairs. There was, you know, a very big attendance to it. And Mel B popped her head around the door. And immediately, she was one of the first people that we came across and we thought was absolutely right for the project.
I actually saw the audition in the Stage paper, but I didn't go for that one. I went for a cruise. I went downstairs for this, I think it was 6 or 8 month cruise. And then my friend dragged me up to the audition for this group, and I was like, oh no, it's not really me, it's not really me. Anyway, I got there and I got a second audition and everything, and I was really, really shocked.
I mean, Mel B, it's obvious why we went for her. I mean, she's, I don't think she's really changed a lot since you know, the character that she was when she came into the band. She's the obvious star to me.
Nice out there. Right, well, I'm Melanie Brown. I'm 19 years old, and I went to performing arts school from the age of about 8. My throat's sore, by the way, so I don't know if I'm sounding this rough. I went to performing arts school and left at 15 to do a job, summer season, with Phil Winston dancing, and I was doing study singer. And I was taking my GCSE exams in rehearsals as well. So I had to dash back to Leeds, do GCSE exams, and dash back and do rehearsals. So I had a pretty hectic life at 15.
We're gonna make it happen.
Mel C, she had a very good vocal ability at the time. She's got she had, you know, a very good range, very strong vocals, quite diva-ish.
I went to a performing arts college and I was doing dancing, drama and singing, and I was originally going to go into the theatre, but I'd much rather do this. I left college, it was about a year ago, but I've done little bits and bobs. No, I didn't get any major contracts or anything, just done a bit of session singing and a bit of cabaret dancing, but I never really was into it.
We're gonna make it happen.
Victoria, you know, was a very good-looking girl. You know, she's she kind of, I suppose, she kind of represented a more sophisticated look.
I'm Victoria Adamswood. I'm 19 years old and I'm from Hertfordshire. I went to dancing college for 3 years. Left there and I did fashion shows and trade shows and a few musicals and things like that.
Victoria probably jutted out a little bit, but once you kind of put them all into the melting pot and all those characters kind of fuse and rub off on each other, the whole thing starts gelling. And those were really the first 3 that we kind of came across.
We're gonna make it happen.
My name's Jerry, like Tom and Jerry.
God, Jerry, you know, she was absolutely pestering the life out of our office. And just from talking to her on the phone, you're like, we've got to meet this girl. We invited her down to one of the London auditions, and she actually couldn't make it.
I didn't go to the audition because I'd been skiing and I burnt my face. And basically, I don't think I would have got the audition because my vocal technique was not exactly very good then. But then I turned up to the small audition where there was about 12 people, and I think I blagged it a little bit and just was a bit loud and just pretended to be Mariah Carey.
Jerry brought all the zest and the life and the fun and the campness and the pop.
But I think it was fate. I'm quite a fatalistic person. Hey, what star sign are you?
Michelle Stevenson, one of the wannabes.
We did originally have a different vibe.
I was the one who was at university, the kind of intelligent one, as it were, so they were all thought I was like the smart spice, I suppose.
And Michelle kind of was just showing signs that she wasn't gonna really fit into the group like the others. I mean, the others just absolutely bonded.
I wasn't really happy. It wasn't really the kind of music which I wanted to be doing. It wasn't the kind of music which they ended up coming out with, of course, a few years later. It was very, very pop, It just really wasn't what I was into.
When I met the girls, there was the 5th member, which was Michelle. And that was the first time I'd met her. But I'd only trained her a little, for a short time, because I know that she had some personal problems.
And my mum got ill, and there was just a different succession of things.
She just wasn't fitting in. She would never gel with it. And we had to tell her to go.
I've always been a bit of a fatalist, to be honest. I've always thought everything happens for a reason. And it's helped me very much now. It's given me the opportunity to do different things that I wanted to do. So, no, I don't regret it, although obviously, the money would have been nice.
We then set about actually trying to find her replacement.
And then I remembered Emma, who I had taught at a college.
They had a girl before me, but they didn't get on too well. So I had an audition with this woman called Pepe, who took me along to meet Chris, and I just had to sing a song. I sang SWV, right here.
I said, I think you're the right one. Obviously, the girls have been working together for some weeks now, and, you should see how you fit in with the girls.
I was so nervous, and I thought, what if they don't like me? But luckily, we got on really well, and they liked me, and then Chick took me on.
Oh, it's quite good because you can't see them. My name's Emma Bunton. Before I joined the group, I went to Sylvia Young Theatre School, and then I did a BTEC Performing Arts at Barnet College, which I passed.
You cannot manufacture what those girls had. I know there was a plot behind it, and I know someone had an ambition for creating this group, but they chose the right people.
They weren't beautiful. They weren't 7 foot tall. They didn't sing like Celine Dion, but they didn't need to. They had something else which was magical.
There's 5 of us. Oh no, how many of you are there?
I don't think they're the best looking girls in the world, but they're attractive and unthreatening.
It was probably quite a naive punter's vision, do you know what I mean? It was rather than this 60-year-old pop marketing Svengali.
I went along to the actual recording studio so that one could get an idea of how they were singing and what their tuning was like and so on. And that was the first time I met them.
Hey! Hold on. Let me just get it. Come on, I'll do mine. Hey!
They really weren't very sure about their voices, how high, how low they could go, about projection, all the basic techniques.
We put them into a development programme. They weren't necessarily ever going to be the final lineup. We were quite happy to change people along the way and really kind of take our time and get the right formula together. They hadn't been on a contract from the word go. One of the other guys involved was adamant that he didn't want to put them under a contract at all. And I suppose it's that old school management thing where he wanted that whole sort of insecurity to play a part in it. So that they were always on their toes, always hungry for it, and always had something to prove. Because I think if any one of them played up, he would have shipped one out and shipped the next one in, sort of thing.
What I would do is work them.
Mel, I remember saying to me, we want to be the female, take that. That's what we want to do. We want to be up there and strong and completely different to the other girl groups, which of course they were. There was no groups at that time that had that kind of attack and the streetwise power.
I think the girls come as they were, and I think that was almost the beauty of it all. They weren't trying to be anything that either of them wasn't. They were just kind of come in their little ways, and that's really what made it so sensational and so fresh almost. 93 and onwards, I think there was need for strong females out there. I think, girls were getting a little bit downtrodden. I think it was to sort of fight back for the girls.
I need you. Everything about you.
In my eyes, there isn't really a good, well-established girl group at the moment who have got like a credible pop but funky sort of image. Like you've got Eternal, and they've got one main singer, then you've got Shampoo, and there isn't really, and then that's it.
We were the only females that were around at the time. It was very male-dominated at that time.
There was Bananarama and the Bangles, and then Eternal were doing the R&B stuff, but no out-and-out pop.
And we were like, why has this never been done?
We're going to do that.
Goes into the
one.
It's got
everything about you.
Yeah, it's got to suspend over that bit because it's almost like it stops and then it takes a new move almost.
Okay, so
it's got to suspend across it.
5, 6, 7.
I want you. I want you. I need you. I need you.
Anyone who's going to get involved in a pop band must be prepared for what lies ahead of them.
The girls were indeed worked hard, with a strict regime of daily rehearsals in a council-run studio.
You ready?
Yeah.
Take me away. Take me away.
1, 2.
Take me away.
I'm on my own on this bit.
She's blunt. Are you ready?
I remember the music industry was a very fun thing to be in that year. There was a big movement going on and pop was changing. If you were going to do commercial music, you had to have an edge and you had to compete.
Sometimes you have to just remember what your aim is to get you through it, because sometimes you get a bit down and a bit tired. But on the whole, it is brilliant. I wouldn't want to do nothing else.
We are so lucky.
I know,
Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? We are doing exactly what we want to do. We're pursuing a dream. I'll tell you what, there's millions of kids out there that want to be pop stars. Do you know what I mean? And we're actually taking a step closer and closer to a dream. Do you know what I mean? And that is just, I couldn't be happier.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
By August 1994, the road to pop stardom has led the girls to a small semi in Maidenhead.
When Jerry said, John, I'm going to go and live in this house with 4 other girls and I'm going to become a pop star, I said, Jerry, don't do it, love.
This is our bath, and this is where all of us bath. I have a bath 2 days, 2 times a night, 2 times a day. This bath is wicked, and you can guarantee if you have a bath, somebody will be sat in here talking to you.
We've thrown them together in one house And part of the whole making of it was learning to live together as well. You know, that's the way it's going to be if this thing takes off.
I think the house was a very important place for them to be, to bond, for it to become like home, but also it was too much sometimes, because it wasn't exactly Buckingham Palace.
Vicky said the other day something about... Come on, say it again.
Well, I think it's because I wear clothes and I walk around the house and I shut the door and I have a weird, doesn't mean I don't like that. Because everybody...
We like openness in this house.
Completely I have to lock the door.
Bath and wash together.
Everything. You have to save water and all get in the bath.
Oh, that! Look, this is where the crushed spider is.
God knows what they got up to in there, but it was teenage hellhole, I should think.
I'm just getting a piece of bread. Because I can't bother to make any toast.
We did subsidise them a bit, and we gave them a weekly wage as well, towards food and keep and all that sort of stuff. The girls were signing on and probably getting housing benefit at the time as well.
Yeah, we get a bit of living expenses which pays for food, but nothing really.
You know, we said, do you want a sandwich, Jerry? Because those legs were so skinny, all she was these boobs coming up the stairs, weren't they?
She was, yeah.
These pins and this belt and boobs.
I don't think she was eating, actually, because she didn't have any money.
That's true. Yeah, she was broke.
No! Cheese and small and make sure there's a little bit of
I'm a mushroom deep pan. No, that's it. Cash. Miss Brown. Okay, thanks. Yes. Pizza's on the way.
Now, I remember in the house the fridge, specifically because they had their little collections of things and their little pots and their little bits of noodles. And the kitchen was an important part of just being around and talking a lot. They were always dieting, always trying to lose the weight. I remember Jerry always eating her vegetables and then have their pot noodles or whatever.
Well, we eat, sleep and drink it, really. We all live together. Wake up in the morning, go to the studio, rehearse all day, come back from the studio absolutely knackered and go to sleep. And that's it. Apart from a weekend, might go out on a Friday or a Saturday, but apart from that, our lives is just based around this and singing.
It's lucky that you've got 5 girls together who do get on so well, because, I mean, girls can be a bit...
The worst thing about living in a house of 5 girls is I always have to clean the toilet. Because Emma and Victoria I don't think know how to clean toilets, because their mums do all that for them when they get home.
Can you wash my bag?
Like with Emma and Victoria, they're like more of mummy's girls, and they do get a bit homesick and stuff, or they used to. And so, like, there's been plenty of times where they've been homesick and we've had to say, come on, it's all right, we're a big family, you shouldn't feel homesick.
I've never lived away from home before, but I found it very hard at first. I'd cry a lot and things and miss my mum, but they made it easier.
I think the atmosphere was different every time I went up there. Sometimes it was a little bit, you know, one's had a row with somebody else, and the other time it would be buzzy and funny and lively, and there would be lots going on.
Red faces and giggles as the girls watched themselves on video for the first time.
We're gonna make it happen.
Oh
my God! Oh no!
It's having been away from home for so long and not being able to go like back to like my mum's house and everything. I've had to fend for myself, so it's been like a big learning process for me as well. And I think, as well as everybody else, we've all come together as one. Like if there's any disagreements or anything, everything just gets sorted out straight away. We just, yeah, that's it.
It seems that every week, you know, someone gets a bit down, depressed, but which is good because there's 4 people to bring everyone back up.
Well, living in a house with 5 girls is really, really, really exciting because there's never ever a dull moment. Like, there'll be something going on in the kitchen, there'll be something going on in the front room, something going on upstairs.
Emma! Emma! Emma!
And it's up the stairs to take a sneaky peek in the girls' bedrooms.
We're the lads of the group.
Oh, Bobby was just climbing out the window. Come in.
This is the boudoir.
This is the boudoir. We've got a red light, we've got a multicoloured light. So let me turn it off and show you the full effect. Jerry bought us that bowl, and this is my bed!
This is my one.
That's mine.
This is my rabbit. Let's do a suck my thumb together.
This is my side right here.
And I've usually got a big Ryan Giggs picture, but it's disappeared.
I know,
because they burnt it because they don't like it.
This is my favourite poster.
Because she's a take that fan.
This is our wardrobe.
It's really full up, as you can see.
No, and I've just bought this. This is new. It's my jumper dress. Look, this is all my crap. It's not even folded.
There's no dirty washing under here, honest.
Everything here is definitely needed. I need to have all these things on my dressing table. And then we've got Melanie's selection of toiletries. One face cleanser. No one can live with me and I need my space, right? And basically there's no room in this house. So my cupboard is in the airing cupboard. But I thought I'd show you some of my outfits. Look, because I am the original pop queen, everyone says. Right, look. This cost 120 quid. Quite cute, isn't it? And this was a tutu from Asda. I thought it was very Vivienne Westwood. It's aged 8. Oh, and also, you can see, what I've actually read one tiara, because these are quite in at the moment. They are allowed on this club wear. Have you seen it in the Face magazine? So I might go out clubbing. Pop princess, that's it really. Going to get rollerblades, get them because Robbie does that, take that. So, you know, we go skating together.
It could have gone really badly and imploded and not happened, but obviously they're all bright and intelligent enough to see that if they all fed off each other, then they could push it a long way.
Baby, you give good feeling to me. Baby, I know this feeling won't go.
And I think the canniest thing of the whole thing was like, we're all really good mates and we all really love each other and we care for each other and we all came from the same house.
But now, because we all live together, we've really got to know each other and we're just a group now, that's it. Just a group, nothing's going to break us up.
Makes me want to be free in a world where we fly, fly, fly.
5 girls like that, there's no mistaking, they were a pop band. They talked the talk and everything else, and they were living this like little fantasy all the time.
What, EMI? You want to give us a 10-hour record deal? Wicked! So usually Nicky buys.
Emma!
What? You know your eyes got all sorts of little things.
I've got very sensitive eyes, and when I wear makeup, I get gouged in my eyes, so I get it out.
She picks them and she goes wangada with them in her finger.
She's fast.
No way, I just can't cope.
Oh, I can't cope.
And what does Victoria do? Victoria's a lady, so she doesn't really do much. I'm the Gary Barlow. Oh, that's disgusting. He's a serious, very harmless, with loads of rhythm, and you know, writes all the stuff. The brains behind it all. Right. Without me, they're nothing. I promise.
4 months ago, they didn't even know each other. And they are gelling together. They've done all the arguing you can think of. We let them get on with it. Yeah.
We've got real extremes of people who don't like to say what they think and people who tell you exactly what they think.
Melanie and Jerry, Melanie Brown is a really bossy one, and so is Jerry. She sort of like tells us what we're doing every day and kind of gets the whip out and makes sure we work properly.
Just like a family, really. We're all really in tune with each other. Really in tune with each other. Like, we know how far to go. Like, I know not to say a certain thing to Jerry because I know she'll snap and that's it.
Mel B would, you know, often fight with Jerry. I mean, they would often almost end up physical.
You really spoiled the harmony line then. Really did. I found us over here, so now we forgot your bill.
We said do it.
And you
I want to
forgot
say
your
something now.
picture.
When me and Emma had that argument earlier on, she missed the big
You completely spoiled that, and you had that a minute ago. You need to concentrate because you can get your timing when you concentrate.
You must admit, it feels a bit growing to have a camera there. It still throws me.
Yeah, but that shouldn't make no difference. We've got pictures
Yeah, all right, it's a mistake. It's a mistake. But you made a big mistake. I made
That's
mistakes.
just annoying me. That's all.
Yeah, but you can't do that.
You're the loudest on that harmony line. That's all.
Oh, it was a mistake. It was a mistake.
All right.
You made a big one by pointing it out.
I know I did because you forgot a bit. That's why.
We'll just do it again.
We do have really bad arguments, sometimes really bad arguments, where there's things flying and there's swearing and it can get really, really nasty sometimes. But we all made a pact at the start. We all said if there's anything that annoys you or anything that really, really winds you up, rather than let it all build up, we've just got to tell each other. So that's why probably you might find sometimes we get a bit nasty with each other, but it's only because we get it out of the way, then it's over and done with, so that person knows, so they're not going to do it again. Oh, wait a minute. Don't move your hand like that on that bit. Keep your hand still.
And make sure you know which way to do this. Alright? And you know which way to start doing them bits.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Used to be a singer, so he's really interested and always asking how it's going, and all my friends are interested and keep saying when we're going to see you on Top of the Pops and that kind of thing. But I don't know when that's going to be, probably a long time.
My mum's all right. My mum and my dad, and I don't know, they're not... Cause I haven't come from a really close family anywhere. Like, I moved away from home when I was 15, so I've always been my own individual little person. And I haven't asked my mum what I'm doing. I've told her what I'm doing, whether she likes it or not. So, I mean, she's always been there at the end of the day to support me. She's come to see me in the shows. And I think she's pleased with how everything's going on.
They never spoke about if we make it. It was always, you know, when and, you know, how big and all this sort of stuff. Jerry was probably a little bit frustrated as to how long the actual process was going to take. We always had it in our minds that it was going to take sort of 12 months, 18 months to develop before they even get it signed or, you know, have any sort of release. And I think that wannabe sort of mentality, you know, very much there from the beginning, and they really were hungry for it.
But basically, I think that every group does need a bit of a, you know, organiser. I wouldn't say I'm bossy, more of an organiser.
Jerry's a bit of a bossy booze sometimes, and I get a bit annoyed with her.
I'm quite a motivated, enthusiastic person because, you know, I just feel like time's running out, I've got to get there. And I'm quite hungry for fame.
I want you. I need you.
Once she kind of got in with the band, that whole band became, you know, very, very ambitious.
I want you. I need you.
I need you.
I'm so ambitious and I just want to get there, really. That's the whole point of it. I just want my ego fed, I think.
Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8.
And basically, I think the pop market is completely dominated by men. So, you know, we're just going to slot right in there.
It was John.
Oh, John Bon.
And oh my God, I actually liked him, and we were like acting on
it.
Slash. We had such a laugh for about half an hour. We was rocking, weren't we? What's the song? So we want to be like pop Oasis, really, don't we? No, what's
They've spent near on a year being locked in this little box of a studio, you know, sort of working on it. And they had never showcased and never really shown off what they've achieved or had any outside feedback.
And eventually they were talking about doing a showcase so that they could get different songwriters to see them perform and they could start developing their songs, because There's only so much you can do, and once you've done a lot of training, you then have to go on to the next stage. And that's what they were gunning for. They were getting so frustrated, because where are we going? What are we doing? What is the next thing we're going to do? Are we working towards something?
And practice has made perfect. Well, ish. Soon it will be time for the girls to launch themselves into the harsh world of the record industry. With their performance debut looming, our wannabes are worried about their image.
Yeah, I mean, Geri was really very much the sort of engine behind the band. She was the rocket that really kind of kept the whole thing moving and, you know, everyone focused and motivated. She knew her vision, very, very, very streetwise. She knew exactly what she wanted and how it was all going to look, and, you know, probably even more so than I did at that time.
People are instantly going to think, oh, bubble gum. You know, it's a real
right, so we've
sugary...
got to go the opposite direction to...
Yeah, to counteract that.
Yeah,
you know?
to balance it, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. As a 5-girl white group, you can't
You're
play
worried that
on
I'm going to
that.
turn them into shampoo?
Yeah.
Now I'm really going to get it.
No.
Every opinion I'm going to say in front of this lot is just going to...
No, not at all.
Right, before you calm down, hey,
Have I offended you?
No, I do know what you mean.
No, 'cause she gets...
I think, no, who influenced about the army trousers? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
no,
think
I
I've rubbed onto them in a positive
Yeah,
way.
I think there are certain sides which have rubbed onto them in a positive way.
No, I can't take criticism. No, I can take criticism, but I have to, it takes me time to digest it, that's all.
I know you do it.
Do you know what I mean? I will go away and think about everything you said and I always come back. Quote me if I'm wrong. If I know I'm wrong, I'll come back and say. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, I've got this pride.
I think girls may most probably get a little bit more sensitive and hurt by one another than what boys do. I think boys go, yeah, sod off anyway, I'm going for a drink. I think girls kind of maybe ponder on it all a little bit more and make it into a mountain.
It is, absolutely. It is nothing like anyone imagined. It's not glamorous at all.
We put in a lot of hours. It's very physically and emotionally draining.
Hopefully, when we get where we want to be, we'll be able to lay back in the limousines and all that, but it's just been a lot of hard work now. A lot of hard work.
Particularly me, I mean, I think I've got because one, I'm not a trained dancer, so learning choreographed routines is a bit of a nightmare, and everyone has to be really patient with me and tell me 10 times over, whereas everyone else gets it in one. I think I might be relying on you. Okay, just one.
When deeper than...
Is that right? Got a bit flat. Quieter. It's hard.
I'd never thought she could sing or dance or anything, but I thought she had the chutzpah and the engine to do anything she wanted to do. Let's face it, I mean, you know, sometimes you can get away with it.
They all had different strengths and weaknesses, and Geri, for what she put in ambition and energy and drive, she lacked in other areas.
I should just do a beat just in case.
Within the group, Geri isn't like a professional dancer. I've had to use my skills there, so it's basically been me who's had to teach everybody it. But because I've got patience with kids, I've got patience with them, because they are a bit of hard work when it comes to saying things sometimes.
I need you. Everything that you do, I want you. No, I need you. Stop it.
That's all right, isn't it?
Everything about you.
Right, let's do a different song now, because I'm bored of this one.
Because like you've got two strong characters, me and Geri, we're really like the ones who will just say it, whereas the other three will probably think it but not say it, if you know what I mean. So now and again you have to say, come on, do you not agree with me? And like if we're in an argument situation or we're discussing something, they might think it but they won't actually say it. So I think me and Geri are the spokespeople for the group.
During a break, there's a chance to indulge with some girl group therapy.
We've had to compromise our personalities a little bit, haven't we? Like, you know, like me and you have had to...
I've had to tone down a bit because you're upset because she's a pop.
If anything really, really annoys you, sometimes it's easy to just go, right, just ignore it.
No, but it's not, because we...
It's just not worth it. It's
not
not worth it.
Victoria, she's a bit...
don't know, she can be a bit scatty sometimes, like she won't realise something until you tell her.
Vicky, now I would say she's the older man's, you know, kind of date, I would say. She's sexy. She had sex appeal to the group, I would say.
She made me
I
cry.
didn't run after her.
It wasn't just crying, it was like...
The funny thing was,
we were singing, and our singing teacher like had 10 minutes left, and then she said, look, come on, you know, I just want to run this song through one more time. And I was that upset.
we didn't want to waste any more time, so she was trying to sing to no.
And she was laughing at me, and I was really, really upset.
And she went, you are just hard-faced bitch.
Did she apologise?
No.
I wasn't there.
Oh, no, you weren't there.
That's
the peacemaker wasn't there.
And then Melanie Chisholm she's not quiet, but she's like the peacemaker. If any of us have a row, she kind of like rings a bell.
Melanie's the one who calms us all down.
She just like adds so much spice. She's like smooths everything out. She adds soul to the group, I think.
What we were saying the other day is like we've all got friends and stuff, but it's only recently, like when we was in the pub the other day and that bloke started talking to us. And people want to be friends with you.
I know.
So they find out what you're doing and stuff.
Well, sometimes, right, when someone asks you what you're doing, don't you get really embarrassed to say it because you must.
You can't say like.
I'm in a pop group.
I'm in a pop group. It's like all the girls. We're just cool.
Already, I feel like I'm losing my identity. Do you know what I mean? And I have to remind myself like who I am. Not your Melanie Chisholm. I mean like just the way I am, and I do something and I think, hang on, that's not me. That's. Do you know what I mean? I just really, like, change. Like, last couple of days, I don't know whether it's just me, right, but last couple of days, I've been waking up and, like, I've had this really, really, like, scary feeling that I don't know who I am.
What do you mean?
Am I just being, like, really far out there?
But, no, but sometimes I wake up and I get a really, really scared feeling like I am an insecure person. I can't imagine life without us now. I know, yeah. It's like, this is it, do you know what I mean? I've like adapted you like my new family.
The girls are walking on air, but Chris is trying to keep their feet on the ground.
I mean, there's so much more work to do, yeah. And you actually put yourselves up on a pedestal sometimes.
We don't.
I think you do.
But all we have to do,
and I agree with positive thinking. You got to think positive and almost like convince yourself it's going to happen, so it does happen.
Yeah. All we get all week is chick saying you've got miles to go. We don't ever get anybody, honestly, do we?
Yeah, I agree.
Anybody saying
as like 5 girls,
yeah.
You could come across really sort of arrogant. You know, well, not arrogant, like really sure of yourself, like it's going to happen and like you're already there. The truth of it is that you're working for it, and people don't actually see that. They just see girls who are talking like they're already there, sort of thing.
Now I know, yes I know, I can feel it.
They've talked the talk, now they have to walk the walk. Their long-awaited showcase is just days away.
I always said that, you know, you've got to be ready by the end of the year, because I want to kind of do this showcase. It became very much the focus, and it was a very important event.
And they were saying, let's get on, let's do something, because they were actually nearly ready.
They were very excited and nervous about this day, like a coming out day. It was the first day that everyone was going to see them.
December 94, Nomis Studios, Shepherd's Bush, London, Showcase Day. A specially selected group of songwriters and record industry execs will be the girls' first ever audience.
It's an opportunity to get together record company people and publishing people, and it's really where you set out your stall. So if that had gone wrong, then that could have sort of spelt the end of the whole thing.
We haven't got any decent songs, we haven't really got anything to work on. Hopefully this showcase will bring writers and bring new material our way, and we'll have something solid.
We will find the writers today.
It was at a place, Nomis, which we all go to very many times, three or four times a week. If you're in publishing or in records, you go there very often. It's not a place that is unfamiliar to us, and in a way it's tainted with the negativity. I was there the night before that, 2 days before that, and in a way you go to the place again. It's like keep on going to the same environment. You think, oh God, it's going to have to be really special to to bowl you over.
We could go out now and get a singles deal and just put out a single, and you know, the whole thing would just fizzle out after one single, maybe 2 singles. The whole idea is to get an album's worth of material together and go out, package it all up. We'll go out to the record companies and hopefully knock them dead with it.
That's it, this is our life. No matter if friends ask us out, no, I can't go out. I've got an early morning call at the studio tomorrow, so it's like we've put all our energies into this, so it's got to work. Simple as that, it's got to work.
We were working through the songs, through the movements, where they were going to breathe, how they were going to hold the mics.
Take me away. Take me away.
Smile.
I won't get the wrong bloody no, I'm fine.
It's hard enough just to stand in front of an audience and sing, but this is kind of people who can make or break your career.
I think you've got to be confident, because, I mean, we were all talking this morning and we said if any of us are nervous, keep it to yourself, because if one's nervous then it all spreads like wildfire. So as a group, we are confident, yeah. As a group, we are, yeah.
Them cooks downstairs says that I saw Michelle Gale and she looks huge. Last week she was in the studio.
I think she is quite big, but she's like, she looks in good shape, do you know what I mean?
While the girls trade pop gossip, the managers count the cost.
It costs, I suppose, in hard cash, probably £1,000 a week. I would think that 20,000's been spent so far, and it could be another 25,000 before we get a record deal.
Management, aren't they?
I just respect them for doing what they're doing.
They hadn't been on a contract from the word go. I'd always said to everyone, particularly approaching the showcase when they were going to be exposed to outside influences and that. So I'd always said, look, we've got to get them under a contract. This is the final lineup. We're very happy with it, and it's all working well. It's now time to put all that in writing. The girls were also very insecure because they never had a contract and quite scared, and they were actually sort of banging on about getting something sorted.
Well, I don't think we'll sign a contract until we get a record deal. So I don't know when that's going to be. Depends how today goes, really, and what writers we can get on board and things like that. Then we'll probably have a contract.
Basically what we did during the day, we kind of split the day down, and different sets of writers and producers and publishers were coming down at various intervals, and the girls would put on a number of showcases throughout the day and then talk to them and schmooze with all the relevant people.
The buzz was incredible. It had gone round the industry and there were people pouring in all the time, and there was when you get a buzz in the industry, you know it.
It's the hottest ticket in town.
Who's that?
The girls are high on nervous energy.
I'm the love goddess.
We're the party animals. We are.
Party
We
animals,
go out every Wednesday.
definitely. Like to have fun. Live life for the moment.
We get dressed up on a Wednesday night.
If you've got money, spend it. Why save it?
She is a foxy lady of the group.
I'm not.
Foxy lady.
And she's innocent, but really she is not.
Oh, look.
Believe me.
I am. Hi. And I'm blonde.
I'm ginger now. I'm the Mad Hatter. She's the eccentric of the group. She's going to end up really old and dressed really weird. I'm going to have a castle with a swimming pool and an island in the middle. And have loads of wild parties.
You should put that before. I'm feeling in a better mood now because I've had something to eat, so I'm not going to be as moody. I'm even fatter than before.
Is that before? After before? After before?
We have to have a little get together. Pray.
That's like Madonna.
Okay.
Madonna got inspiration from us.
I want to thank you.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Who's gonna be?
Finally, after months of pop, sweat and tears, it's showtime.
We're gonna make it happen. You know that the time is right for us to shine a light. We're gonna make it happen. Don't ask me where I've been, just where I'm going to. Woo! So hear me out and let me in. I'm coming through. We non-stop.
It's not a question of looking and say, oh, that's a sexy one, or he's handsome, or she's great. You felt as though, commonly, they looked as though they were bigger than the individual parts. So collectively, they looked like a gang. Collectively, they acted like a gang. There was certainly a common energy that was coming off the stage, and a driving force that you just thought, oh, God, I'm not sure whether this is going to work or not. It's going to turn a few heads and it's going to make people smile.
One thing left to say, we're gonna make it happen. Know the time is right for us to shine a light.
We're here till 6-ish anyway, so yeah, the girls might be a bit knackered by then, but never mind. Fine, I mean, they keep doing it all day long, you know.
We're in an industry that needs to be fed, you know, it's like bloodsuckers and sort of Dracula, and we need blood to feed us, you know, and when people come in that are very vibey and very positive and amazingly focused, you either say, no, it's all too frightening for me, and shut the door, or you jump onto that roller coaster ride with them.
They kept that momentum the whole day. They performed the very first time as they performed the last time. They were so hyped and so buzzed because everybody kind of thought, wow, this could be different. This could be something.
For the way it's going, I think people are really liking what they're seeing, and I just think we're having good writers under our belt anyway.
After the song's finished, they came and had a bit of a chat, sat in a group, and basically started firing us questions.
Have you thought much about what you think lyrically would make sense of where you're at the moment?
We don't really want to sing about the
we don't want
sort of thing, really. Maybe one or two, but that's what everybody tends to sing
something
about.
that everyone can identify with.
Well, maybe things like girls just want to have fun, for instance. That kind of lyric could be.
Jerry was sat 3 steps in front of them, quite focused and very, very as though she was the dynamic force that was then wanting to take it to the next stage.
Well, we think that there's a massive gap in
Definitely, yeah, for a girls' group.
Yeah, we don't consider ourselves to be, I know, en vogue or eternal, but, you know, we're not as poppy as Take That.
You weren't going away thinking, my God, these are fantastic singers. You were blown away by the positivity and the whole energetic fun aspect of it. And it would take a certain manager to then say, well, I'm not frightened about the absence of songs, but I'm up for developing and harnessing the band and the brand and the possibilities of expanding that.
That was the first time they had been exposed to any sort of outside excitement. The rot set in, particularly with Jerry. That was it, she was ready. She was like a horse out of a trap.
Jerry came to me a couple of days afterwards saying she'd be very interested in following up a conversation about the possibility of me introducing her to writers. Jerry came on her own. She was relatively unclothed, with a big smile, and sort of looked like a very lovable Barbara Windsor sort of character. It was a very cold day and she had very little on. So obviously, with the benefit of hindsight, she obviously decided that was the way to get to my heart. And the conversation quickly moved towards her being relatively unsatisfied with the speed that Chris and Bob were taking the band. From that, she asked me if I'd be able to help her with any lawyers, and also would I be able to take her and introduce her to potentially any other managers. She went back to see the girls and then said, listen, I've had a meeting with Mark, he seems all right.
Jerry and Mel were very, very close at that time. They had a very fiery relationship, but, you know, when they were together, they were like a rod of iron.
And I took them into Columbia, I took them into Parlophone, EMI, and I took them into RCA. And it was just a whirlwind every single time, so people definitely knew they were in. And I was, you know, high on the possibility of them being part of that roller coaster ride with them.
She had heard everything she needed to hear, and she was gone.
How Chris felt, I think he probably felt really pissed off.
I was young then and, you know, allowed that to happen. I would never get to that stage now where, you know, I would get an act that, you know, that far down the line and not have a contract with them.
Just months after the showcase, the girls left Chris and Bob, signed a new management deal and, more significantly, called themselves the Spice Girls.
My ambition. is obviously to make it really big with the group.
We all want to, you know, we want to do Top of the Pops and Smash Hits Poll Winners Party and all that kind of thing.
I think I'm strong enough to stay the same person inside.
Well, it'll change me in the ways where I'll have more money to pamper myself. But me as a person, because I'm from Leeds, I'm a pretty down-to-earth person anyway, so I don't think that can change.
I think we deserve it. It's, you know, if there's a God out there, I think we should make it.
Wannabe went straight to #1, the first of 9 chart-topping singles, making them the biggest-selling girl band in the world.
What, EMI? You want to give them an album? Wicked!
And with an estimated 20 million each, they are among the richest women in the country. Chris Herbert is now a successful pop manager. He currently has 5 and the band from ITV's Pop Stars, and he has them under contract.
I have to be really honest. When I first heard of the Spice Girls, I thought it was a joke. You know, I thought it was someone, you know, like a Mr. Blobby record. Oh, they're real people.
And the Spice Girls were just like full-on pop. We're for a laugh, we'll have our music, we're going to have a great time. But for someone to buy in, you know, across the globe to what the Spice Girls have done is fantastic. And it's all driven by their personalities and a great choice of music.
And if they all do end up going, right, let's call it a day, I mean, what a career they've all had. I mean, they have made history. We didn't make history, love.
And now, exclusively for this video, unseen footage of the girls from 1994.
Right, wait a minute, we've got to cue Jerry to breathe because she takes long. Right, Jerry, cue. And... do one by one, just one up and down, one up and down. And... and... hey! Hold on, let me just get it. Come on, I'll do mine. Hey! Right, ready? Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, can you try that then?
What? Right, what do you want to do?
Just do it. Keep coming back from the dance break. Are you going to take the first 2? Yeah. Yeah?
Oh no, we're going at my weddings again. Can we just do this first then?
We'll sort this bit out and then we'll go back to the
Oh,
language,
right,
yeah?
okay.
So just go back into the dance break. 5, 6, 7.
I want you. I want you. I need you. I need you. Everything about you. I want you. I need you. Swim in. You could be a mountain. take me to a place where I know where you touch me, where deeper there. I want you, I need you, everything that you do. I want you, I need you, everything about you.
Let's do the big talk, background talk.
You could be an island. I want you to lift away. You could be a picture. I would look at every day. Where you touch me, where you go deeper than I want you, I need you, everything that you do. I want you, I need you, everything about you. I want you, I need you, everything that you do. I want you, I need you, everything about deeper than.
Crescendo should go. The last one should start off quiet and then get big. Okay. 6, 7, 8.
When deeper than.
I should just do a mix just in case. I think I might be relying on you. Okay, just one.
When deeper than.
Is that right? Go a bit flat. Come in just quiet.
Do you want to do it with me over the top?
No.
Yeah,
I do. When.
So do it, when does it come out of? You could be a river.
You could be my heaven.
Do it from the same bit, heaven.
You could be my heaven. Take me to a place where I know when you touch me, when you go deeper still, then I know. I want you, I need you, everything that you do. I want you. No, I need you.
That's all right, innit?
Everything about you.
Now, can we just do the bit again, just once more?
For the
when you come in
ad-lib
from
bit.
the dance break, so you remember your bit. So you, Emma.
Do you know that you're doing that? Emma,
Remember
do you know
what
that you're
bit?
doing that?
Yeah.
It's because she's blonde. Yeah, that's correct. Because she's the only blonde in the group. I've got a strip of it, so
And I've got a streak.
I'm a little bit dizzy. So is she.
They're all trying.
Babe.
No,
We haven't got it. Right, let's do a different song now because I'm bored of this one. And I like the instrumental stabs.
Don't you lie,
don't you lie,
never fake it, baby. Now I know, yes I know, I can feel it in my soul. It's telling me which way to go. Believe in me, I will show you. We're gonna make it happen. We know the time is right for us to shine a light. We're gonna make it happen. Don't you lie, don't you lie, never fake it, baby. Come with me and just see you and me. Now that I know we can be free, I want the world to know that we're gonna make it happen. We know the time is right for us to shine a light. We're gonna make it happen. Don't ask me where I've been, just where I'm going to. We're gonna make it happen. We know the time is right for us to shine a light. We're gonna make it happen. Don't ask me where I've been, just where I'm going to. Don't go standing on the floor, 'cause there I go coasting, boasting. I'm doing on the mic. There's no stopping me moving, grooving. 'Cause all I wanna do is get it through to you. No stopping, delaying. Look at yourself is what I'm saying. This feeling I got, as a matter of fact, is a natural aphrodisiac. Right, you know that R. Kelly song? The video, is that really an old video? Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say. It's really out of date.
You read it?
Go on then. Still good. Yeah. I said that to you. It's got everything.
I bet one of you says it. Seems alive.
Time is now, we want release. Break on through and get the system moving. Get your dreams and let them loose. Feel the vibe when you'll be losing. You know I'm gonna make it, baby. Don't you lie, don't you lie. Never fake it, baby. Now I know, yes I know. I can feel it in my soul. It's telling me which way to go. Believe in me, I will show you. We're gonna make it happen. Know the time is right for us to shine a light. We're gonna make it happen. Don't ask me where I've been, just where I'm going to. Sorry. So hear me out and let me in. I'm coming through with non-stop motion. Time won't wait, don't hesitate. Visualize your inspiration. You know I'm gonna make it, baby. Don't you lie, don't you lie. Never fake it, baby. Come with me, and you see, it was meant for you and me. Now that I know we can be free, I want the world to know that we're gonna make it happen. Know the time is right for us to shine, shine. We're gonna make it happen. Don't ask me where I've been, where I'm going to. We're gonna make it happen. The time is right for us to shine a light. We're gonna make it happen. Don't ask me where I've been, just where I'm going to. Don't go standing low, 'cause there I go coasting, boasting. I'm doing on the mic. There's no stopping me moving, grooving. All I wanna do is get through to you. No stopping, delaying. Look at yourself, what I'm saying. This feeling I got, as a matter of fact, the natural aphrodisiac. Oh no. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get this towel. Don't know, but it's just for the keyboard anyway.
Don't sit on the arm.
Yeah. All right. Take me away. Take me away. But why did you come in my life anyway? You bring me joy and never pain. The light, sunshine, by the rain. Just take my hand, baby, you can lead me away. Take me away. I could stay forever. Take me away. There's nothing I do. Take me away. Take me away. With you. There's some things in life you can never share. You took my love and you me sad, but I could never live without you. Life could only mean nothing to me. Take me away. I could stay forever. Take me away. There's nothing I do. So take me away. Take me away. With you. Forever, sweet baby. Forever, baby. Forever, forever. Take me away. Forever, take me away. Nothing I can do. So take me away. Take me away. Take me take me away.
Hello. Also, first I was a club dancer, and then I fell into modelling. Show you my book one day. And then I did a calendar for Catherine Hamlet. That was about the best thing I did. And then I thought I'm not really that good enough to carry on the way I am doing, so I thought I'll go to like college and get really into the dance training and technique, even though I'd done it all before, but this, I'd set my mind on doing it properly. Oh, and then I realised I wanted to become a pop star. I would say, a real wannabe. You know, I'm the last of the dying breed. And anyway, so I was trying for a couple of months, and I actually did get, you know, offers from different production companies, but then, and this one come up, and I was thinking, well, there's no female pop groups on the market. I think, you know, it's the hardest thing to do, but, you know, I reckon it's got the most steam in it to go far.
Ambitious. I really just want this to succeed, really. Because it's something I've always wanted to do, but I've never really had the opportunity to do it before. And we're all working really, really hard, and we're all really ambitious, which is good. none of us are really that lazy. Just want to carry on doing it really and achieve everything. And we want to be on smash hits as well, and Top of the Pops and things like that.
And Victoria, she's a bit, don't know, she can be a bit scatty sometimes. Like, she won't realise something until you tell her. She's a bit like, she's not, oh, I don't know. She's a really nice girl though, but she's a bit dizzy sometimes. You have to point things out to her.
No, I haven't got a best friend. I get on with all of them the same, but Melanie and Jerry, Melanie Brown is a really bossy one, and so is Jerry. She sort of like tells us what we're doing every day and kind of gets a whip out and makes sure we work properly.
I can relate to Jerry, but me and Jerry either get on or we don't, because we're both really strong characters.
And Melanie Brown is the other, I would say, most dominant person besides myself. I know I'm very, very dominant. And me and her have got sort of like a love-hate relationship. We go out together and we are just like party people, do you know what I mean? But then again, we do have our sort of like confrontations and there's a lot of conflict sometimes. But either I'll take on the bossy lead or she will, which is good because we do need that.
Melanie, who I share a room with, she's really, really, really nice. She like calms everybody down. She's like a bit of a peacemaker, but she's really funny as well.
And then Melanie Chisholm is, she's not quiet, but she's like the peacemaker. If any of us have a row, she kind of like rings a bell, and she's really good like that.
Everyone says in the group that I'm the peacemaker. Probably feels I said that. But because I don't like confrontation, if there's a problem, I like to get it dealt with. But I think that some of the others go about it in the wrong way, and they're a bit. You see, in the group, because there's 5 of us, and we've all got really strong personalities, but really different, and we've got real extremes of people who don't like to say what they think, and people who tell you exactly what they think, and it's been really difficult, and it's taken a lot of time for us to get over them barriers and sort of compromise with each other. And but now we're getting quite well. But at first, there was a lot of arguments and a lot of people got upset. But now we know how to take each other.
On the night time, sometimes we go out. Me and Emma go out on a Wednesday night to this thing just down the road from us. Because we're a bit party animals, me and Emma. Me and Emma get on really, really well. I get on well with all of them, but I can really relate to Emma sometimes because she's a really nice girl.
Me and Melanie get on really well because we go out and we have a laugh and we just seem on the same wavelength.
Emma, to me, is like the fresh, I don't know, baby of the group. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I want to mother her and give her a big cuddle all the time. And she just puts light into the situation, I think. And she's a real girl. She's my little pal.
But on the whole, I think all 5 of us really, really do gel together. Really gel together. It's amazing because I never thought, like whenever I did summer season stuff like that, I used to live with the girls who I worked with, and I used to hate it. Absolutely hate living with somebody and working with them is the worst thing I thought that I could ever do. I mean, I've been there and I've done it and I haven't got on with the girls.
It's my first time that I've actually moved away from home, so I miss my mum and dad like crazy, and I've got a brother as well. But definitely starting to get used to it now. I was really upset at first, used to cry a lot, but now I'm fine. I'm the baby.
I get on with Emma really well because I do a lot of the travelling backwards and forwards with Emma. I take her home and that. She's really nice and she's more quiet like me. And that's about all. We both like going home because we miss our families and things like that.
But I'm really getting used to it now and I love it down here with all the girls. But I go home at weekends just to say hi to my mum and do a bit of work for some money.
What did I just say then? I forgot what I said.
What was I?
What else?
Have I missed anyone? No, that is it. That is all of us. Hopefully make perfect ingredients. We're all very different.
I just hope that we can keep working together, keep getting on really, really well. And my short-term ambition is to lose weight off my bum and my thighs. And that's for all of us, I think.
That's it. Go away now.